Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, and today we have a quick news roundup video coming off the heels of yesterday's Season 4 reveal. We got some new footage of the upcoming Grief game mode, which I truly do hope is good. I had so much fun playing Grief with my friends back in the day in Black Ops 2. Like, Black Ops 2 Zombies, especially for the time, was freaking incredible. So much fun, and they're bringing back Grief after all this time. Hopefully it's going to be good, but we also got some news about just how terribly Activision failed recently with one of their projects. Now, normally it's in poor taste to kick somebody when they're down, but when it comes to Activision, I think we're going to take literally every chance we can get to poke fun at them because of all the bullshit they pulled on us over the course of the past couple of years. Recently, I'm sure you guys heard the news that Warzone Mobile got shut down. Activision came out and said basically they just weren't making enough money, so they shut everything down, and they aren't even giving out refunds to anybody who purchased items within the game. Well, thanks to TheGameBusiness, who we covered recently for exposing just how bad the Black Ops 6 player count really is, we can now see exactly how badly Activision failed and just how humbled they got. So it turns out that since March of 2024, when Warzone Mobile came out, Activision only made $17 million from that game. And when you hear that, it doesn't really mean a whole lot. We need a bit of context here. So for context, it turns out that the original Call of Duty Mobile, which is developed by Tencent and not by Activision Studios, well, COD Mobile makes more than $17 million every single month. And it took Warzone Mobile well over a year to do what COD Mobile does in a month. It was a colossal failure, and that's why Activision ultimately shut the game down. From the start, the game was pretty much doomed because Activision tried to do what they always do, which is release a subpar game and hope to cash in on brand recognition alone, and then maybe, if they get to it, slowly fix the game over time and try to get it up to the standard, right? They do this with virtually all of their mainline Call of Duty games anymore. We see it year after year, and I think they figured they could just do the same thing on mobile as well. You know, just throw out Warzone so people can play it on their phones, put Verdansk in there, and lock Verdansk exclusively within Warzone Mobile, and then just sit back and watch the money roll in, right? Well, that's not exactly what ended up happening. The game got absolutely blasted with negative reviews right away because it ran like shit. It was burning up and blowing up people's phones. The shop was incredibly predatory, along with also being incredibly lackluster compared to what Tencent was putting into COD Mobile. It was just freaking bad. And at the end of the day, we are talking about a mobile version of Warzone here, so it's not going to be the biggest deal in the world, but this community needs to take their wins wherever they can get them. You know, Activision thought they could just pull the same bullshit they always do, and this time it absolutely blew up in their faces, and I love to see that happen. The same thing is also happening, albeit to a lesser extent, in the mainline Call of Duty games. You know, Black Ops 6, Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3. We've said it time and time again, there isn't anything really inherently wrong with Black Ops 6 as compared to other Call of Duty games, but this time around, fans are just straight up burnt out on the cycle, man. They're burnt out on these subpar launches, they're burnt out on the matchmaking, they're burnt out on the corny events and the 23 shop bundles that they release each and every month, and that's reflected in the current player count. Activision thought they could just put Verdansk into Warzone Mobile and it would be a hit, and of course that flopped, and they thought they could put Verdansk into the mainline Warzone game and that would just right the ship, but as we covered yesterday, over 1/3 of those returning players have left, and more are leaving every single day. That same song and dance, that same formula that they do year after year is finally running thin. It's not working anymore, and that absolutely has Activision terrified, which again, as the community, we have to take our wins here. We can get them, man. That's freaking awesome to see Activision suffering for a change. Now, exactly what will happen as a result of this is pretty much anybody's guess. I mean, maybe, just maybe, they see the player numbers and the failure of Warzone Mobile, and maybe they decide to themselves, you know what, we need to straighten up. We need to get this series back on track. Let's start listening to the community. Let's make some positive changes for the COD franchise. Or, and this is far more likely, by the way, they might just decide to cash out on whatever they can from the series while they can. A great example of this would be the bullshit that is currently going on over at Blizzard, which of course is part of Activision, by the way, because what they're doing to Overwatch right now is freaking disgusting. So recently I actually covered the news that Overwatch is getting quite a resurgence thanks to Marvel Rivals making some really stupid decisions and Blizzard finally listening to their community. They took community feedback and they made a lot of positive changes to Overwatch, which objectively made the game better for everybody, but then they released this nonsense right here. So here we see a paid collaboration with Street Fighter, right? I mean, it's normal for games to kind of collaborate, you know, but what they did here is freaking disgusting. So they have 8 individual bundles. Most of them cost $28 and the other one costs $20. Don't let the coin system fool you or confuse you or anything. This is the exact same model as COD points, except they're called Overwatch coins, right? Like 100 of these coins is $1. So here we see 7 different bundles valued at $28 a piece and 1 bundle at $20. If you do the math, to get everything from the Street Fighter collaboration is going to cost players $216, which is already freaking outrageous on its own, but then you look at the Mega Bundle. Remember how it was going to cost $216 to buy everything? Well, Blizzard Blizzard is saying it actually costs $297 to buy everything, but don't worry guys, they discounted it at 66% off. It's only $99 now. You better act quickly, this offer expires soon. You know, they're literally out here making up fake and arbitrary prices for their bundles just so they can then release the bundle with a discount associated with it to trick people into thinking that they are saving money. And on top of that, they released a 40, yes I said a 40 with a fuck you 40 with an $40 freaking weapon skin. Like, what in the world is going on here? A $40 weapon skin. And mind you guys, this is Blizzard, as in Activision Blizzard. So if they're pulling this kind of shit over there, it's only a matter of time before they start doing the same thing in the COD franchise, and it could be argued that they're already starting to do that. You know those sayings about dealing with a wounded animal and everything, you know? Well, right now, Activision is wounded. They're hurting due to a lack of players leaving the game, overall interest in COD being really low, and that is hitting their bottom line. So in desperation, they are capable of doing literally any amount of nonsense to try to recoup all of their lost revenue. The Verdansk honeymoon phase is over. Players are leaving once again. Black Ops 6 has virtually no hype or interest surrounding it. So what's Activision's backup plan? What are they possibly going to pull out of their asses this time around? It's going to be really interesting to see how all this plays out over the course of the coming weeks and months, especially as we get closer to COD 2025 with all the recent leaks and everything, of course, I've covered here in the channel, where COD 2025 is going to have wall running and double jumping and all that omni movement nonsense on top of skill-based matchmaking. It just, to me anyway, it seems like the game is doomed to fail. And I do see you guys in the comments. I read all the comments and everything. I see people who like advanced movement, and I think that's okay. I mean, Black Ops 3 for me is the top 5 COD of all time, and that had advanced movement. There's nothing wrong with advanced movement inherently, but Black Ops 3 did not have skill-based matchmaking. Black Ops 3 did not have me facing iridescent and diamond players every single lobby. Black Ops 3 was not completely manipulated right down to the point where they're tracking everything from your accuracy to your player movements and everything else that we've covered here on the channel. It's just gonna be so night and day different, man. Like, I'm actually kind of terrified as to how horrible a Call of Duty game with thick skill-based matchmaking would be while also having advanced movement. It could possibly be the worst COD of all time, depending on how you look at it. You know, COD 2025 might make Vanguard look like the OG Modern Warfare 2. It could be really that bad, or it might not be so bad whatsoever. I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see how it all plays out. And as always, I'll be here with you guys every step of the way, and I'll keep you guys up to date with everything that is going on in this dreary little world of ours that we call the Call of Duty franchise. But for right now, I'm going to wrap this video up. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. Leave your thoughts and feedback down there in the comments, and hold up 1 second here. It turns out, as I'm like recording this video, some new news came out. It's not even really big news, but I figured I'll throw in here at the end. It turns out that the FTC is dropping their case against Microsoft acquiring Activision Blizzard. Okay, I mean, they still acquired the thing forever ago. I guess the FTC was still trying to fight it. Sounds like a bunch of wasted taxpayer dollars to me, but regardless, they dropped the case. So yeah, Microsoft has Activision. They always have. They always pretty much will. Not really news, but that literally just came up on my phone as I was recording this video. So figured I would throw it in. Only the most up-to-date news here on NerosCinema. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys all enjoyed this video here today. Leave your thoughts and feedback down there in the comments. Thank you all so much for listening and for your continued support of my channel, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.